of us to this 58th year AGM stroke conference. Yeah, holding virtually, for. So let me recognize the president of the institute, in person of Kunle Awubodu. Recognize the chairman of the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, Builder Professor Kabiru Bala. I recognize the chairman of the College of Fellows, Builder Mrs. Bolanle Araba. All the members of the management team of the institute. We give thanks to God Almighty for this opportunity, even for this year AGM conference, despite all the challenges that we are witnessing world over. We appreciate God that after Port Harcourt over a year ago, we have the opportunity for us to meet again. Yes, this year, last year in Port Harcourt, no one could have said that the whole world will go through the pandemic and the fear that the whole world witnessed. But for God making us a survivor, it's worthy of praise. And my prayer is that till the whole thing is completely over, God will continue to keep each and every one of us. I welcome every participant, both members and non-members who are here, and those that will yet be joining us, for the program. In view of the current situation all over the world, this year conference has to take this note. But then we must be glad as professionals in the construction industry, in the sense that our institute is quick to adapt to the new norm all over the world. And this shows to us that, in the near future, the institute program may have to follow this format that we all are witnessing today. So please let's know that it can only get better, and it will surely continue to get better. This year AGM has been the theme for this year AGM is building materials, research, innovation, and development. And about a month ago, the buildings that has lasted this long, especially the pre-independence building. This was what informed this material. I mean, this topic, and I believe that in my mind, I call whatever it is that we are going through this year as maybe the part one of this topic. There will be need for us to look more into this. This year, we are looking mainly at research, innovation, and development. I believe subsequently, we expand into other areas in the areas of materials. This conference will be a 2-day conference. Today, day one, as we are starting, we have this technical session, and thereafter we go into the AGM. Then tomorrow, our normal usual AGM ceremony, conference ceremony will be there in the morning, and we finish with later in the afternoon with the technical session. The completed part of the technical session. Let me quickly, in closing, appreciate the Minister for Works and Housing, who is a honorary fellow of the Institute, for permitting us the use of the conference, or for the council members who are here joining to get others who are joining virtually.
I want to welcome you to the Golden AGM conference, the 58th conference and annual general meeting that we're having today. It's very important that we take ourselves back to the theme for the conference. The theme for this conference is build material, research, creativity, and development. And of course, this is a day one conference that will be rounding up tomorrow. So far, we want to say so. So I want to invite the president of the Nigeria building to talk to us. Let's have address. That is Builder Kwawobodu, FNOB. Over to you, my president.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to recognize all our past presidents here, the leaders of the profession, invited guests, we have to be deliberately reorganize the timing of this two-day event so that tomorrow will be for the invited guests. Why? Today is Federal Executive Council meeting, which is Wednesday. So the ministers will have to attend the meeting. And that is why there will be no serious speech today from me. My speech, opening speech, will be reserved for tomorrow. So, but meanwhile, it is interesting to embark on this topic called building materials, research, creativity, and development. It is what we need. This nation is very imperative. And we have researchers who are going to deal with this matter right away. So there is no point delaying the process here. So the main speech will be reserved for tomorrow when our guests will be here in full force. Thank you very much. You are welcome.
Thank you, my president. That was very brief, but I've gotten to know this behind the beauty of that particular speech.
Yeah.
By this time tomorrow, we'll be hearing full speech. But we have to move on with the program. And in moving on,
very shortly, our presenters should be ready to make their presentation, and we are going to go straight to the presentation. Like we said earlier on, this is this is not our character. Sometimes technology can be challenging, and we had good intentions, but we are trusting God tomorrow will be by far better. But don't mind, you are going to get something wonderful. I know by God's grace, people will really gain from this conference. We have an array of speakers, we have an array of presenters, and it's better you don't just come or stay wherever you are without getting something. Ladies and gentlemen, after now, we'll be calling on the presenters and we'll share the screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you, it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Prof. The first paper we'll be having this morning, incidentally, this person is that is presenting this paper. My department is starting it off. It's from my department of Building, Yaba College of Tech. And it's no other person than our own builder, Oluwaleke Olowu. He will be presenting the first paper on effects of mixed ratio on the characteristics of RISS concrete. Over to you, Builder Oluwaleke. Builder Oluwaleke is a sub-dean, is just appointed the sub-dean of the School of Environmental, Yaba College of Technology. Over to you, Builder Olowu.
Good afternoon, morning. There are various locations where we have international participants among us. We just saw Graham Taylor from Australia, and we want to apologize again for whatever technical issues that we have. We will try to get over these. Sometimes there are challenges with internet over here in this part of the world. And we did the July conference 2020, and it was better. But this one will still be better than that one. What will happen is it's our presenters that I please lead with that will have backup network so that we can make presentation. And our presenters, like I said, kindly enter in with your audio. We were having problem hearing you. Builder Dr. Danjuma, I think maybe he has presented, but my co-moderator, Builder Aladeloba, please, can you raise a hand digitally if you can hear me, or respond that you can hear? We still set up and still make some progress. We have about 1.5 hours left for this session before we go to our annual general meeting. And our presenters, so I want to hear that, Bidaladibu have kindly confirmed, I want to hear from you, sir.
Yes, I've just been unmuted now.
Thank you very much.
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
I'm too happy for that. Now, what we're going to do from now on is that, please, our control room people should work with the program. When we mention the name of the person, then you try to unmute him quickly. You unmute the speaker so that we can he can respond to us. My co-moderator, who was the last presenter because we're having problem hearing him.
Well, the last presenter at the time I mentioned was Builder Dr. Dodo Mansah. I don't know if anything changed thereafter mentioning his name.
Thank you. What we are going to do now is, when we are going to do damage control, and if we do more damage, it will now be fast. What we are going to do straight away is, we're in paper 2. We were in paper 2. We ought to have taken paper 1, but I think the file format of the paper was not opening. Paper 2, influential factors driving material sourcing for sustainable construction practice. Now, what we're going to do is, if that is by Builder Dr. Dodo Mansour, and because of time, we may not be able to read. We may not be able to read the profile. Incidentally, the profile has been sent. The profile is online. I mean, it's on our social media groups. So, Builder Dr. Dodo Mansour should please take over. I hope that our network is good from there. Now, can you please unmute Builder Dr. Dodo Mansour and let him talk to us? Can we hear you, sir? Builder Dr. Dodo Mansour.
Let's hear you, Builder Dr. Dodo.
Okay, the next one, maybe it's knocked off for now. The next paper should be an evaluation of Nigerian pumice stores as potential pozzolanic materials for cement blending. And that's by Dr. D.D. Dudu. Is Builder Dudu online? Dadu. Is Dadu online? Can you please kindly unmute Dadu? Dr. Dadu, can we? Thank you, Dr. Dadu, because we didn't hear from you. So what we are going to do, thank you very much. What we are going to do straight away is paper 3 is to be presented by Builder Dr. Dadu, an evaluation of Nigerian pumice stores as potential pozzolanic material for cement blending. We kindly request that you talk to the paper in just 10 minutes, and please talk to us also at our level as laymen and professionals. Thank you very much. The control room can now share paper 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are not a layman.
Let every other speaker be unmuted. Let every other speaker be muted, please.
So,
thank you.
Can I go ahead and talk to the paper now?
Please go ahead and talk to the paper in 10 minutes.
Yeah, in our paper, we have evaluated the Nigerian pumice as potential material for cement blending. Now, this has become necessary because of the problem we have in housing. We are all aware that concrete is a material, it's a choice material for housing, but the production of its constituent, that is cement, has about 3 or more challenges. That is, the 2% to 5% of global industrial energy is consumed by the cement industry, and about 5,000 energy and 90 to 130 kilograms of kilowatts of electricity is needed just to produce 1 ton of cement. And it is also responsible to the release of 5 to 10% of greenhouse gases. And for that, in Nigeria, the problem is made worse by the cement production in Nigeria because of the soaring energy crisis, the poor infrastructure, and things like that. To the extent that we have up to 16 to 18 million housing units deficit. And for that, it is necessary now to introduce supplementary cementous material in concrete that will reduce some of the problem we have in Nigeria. And one of the major material that is available in Nigeria is the natural pozzolanous volcanic deposits that are all over the country. These volcanic deposits that are all over the country include pumice. We have pumice that was deposited some million years ago during the volcanic deposit that formed. Now, we have taken 3 states in Nigeria, Borno State, Plateau State, and Kaduna State. And we have taken this pumice material from 4 local government areas. And these 4 local government areas, or our study area, one is the Jos Plateau volcanic subregion, which covers about 3,000 meters squared with outstanding landmarks. And then we have the Biu Plateau covering about 5,200 kilometers squared. And then we have Kajuru in Kaduna State. So those are the 4 areas that we have taken the materials. You will see from our paper, from our PowerPoint, that these materials, the state, the local government, and the localities. Now, why are we using these pozzolanas? Well, we have a lot of pozzolanic material in this country, but the whole world is not aware of it because we have not done research in those materials. Our research is still limited, so that we are not even recognized as a country that had a lot of these volcanic materials. And so these materials are very unique because we are well aware that when cement hydrate, it produces calcium silicate hydrate plus water. But when the pozzolana is added, it brings us strong calcium silicate is produced. And this addition of pozzolana gives us stronger calcium silicate. And that's what is referred to as the pozzolanic reaction of the pozzolan. This pozzolanic reaction of the pozzolan continues with age. It continues to eternity. And so that is the beauty of the pozzolanic activity of the pozzolan. And that's why some structures that are over 2 million years ago, they are still standing, because this material continue, every moment it continue to produce more stronger cement gels. So, well, before these materials are produced, we have to check their characteristics. We have the many standards. Unfortunately, we don't have any of the Nigerian standard that will serve as a reference point for a material to be used as a pozzolan in cement production. We have the American Society for Testing and Material and others on other standards. So we have the requirement. I want to avoid those going to those requirements, and then so that I can move briefly to this material, that these materials are available all over the country. They are in about 5 volcanic subregions. These volcanic subregions cover all over the country. If you look around in your locality, you will always see some arts, something that has happened. This thing that happened, that it must have been born to 1,500 degrees centigrade, you find out that they are very, very available. So we have used modern techniques in checking these materials in order to make sure that the materials certify with the minimal requirement. One of the minimal requirement, or the major minimal requirement, is strength activity index. Even if the material appear to fail in certain aspects, but the strength activity index, which is a ratio, this is the ratio of the compressive strength of material that contains the volcanic material. This compressive strength of concrete that contain this pozzolanic material over the average compressive strength of the control cubes, that's the cube that do not contain the volcanic material. And once that is done, and it gives us 75% and above, then we are safe for us to use those materials. We have done that. What we have done so far is to even analyze one of the major components of a material to use at the pozzolana is that the sum of the major oxide, which is silica, aluminum, and iron, must be 70% by weight of the total material under consideration. And we have done that. And we found out that the materials that we have taken from 4 local governments across 3 states of the Federation had an average of 80.87%, which means they are material for us to use in the production of blended cement or partial replacement of concrete or partial replacement of our OPC in our concrete mixes. And we discovered too from our finding that replacing 5% of OPC in our concrete increases the compressive strength of this concrete up to 17.65%. And one of our major findings is that this strength activity index, which is the major component for a material to be used, is that when you replace 5%, 10%, 15, up to 20% of OPC in all what we have tried, the strength activity index of this material tested were above 75%, which means we can replace up to 20% of the OPC in our concrete mix, which means we can go ahead and make our blended cement using this material. What we require more is that the fineness of this material will have to be increased. Of course, one thing with the increase of finest material, it is the cost. But with the technology we have, we can do it. Now, that is the major thing that we have found out in our all the report is there. I want to, so that I'm not cut off by the internet today. I want to go straight to our conclusion. We have our paper there, we have our PowerPoint there, we have the full paper there, which our esteemed builders and members who have come and participants can look at it. What we have now is that our conclusion is that first, the strength activity index of this material is very excellent. It's very excellent, so it can be used. Thus, the evaluation of the chemical characteristics of the Nigerian plume taken from 3 local governments in the Federation, 4 local governments went across 4 states, and its compressive strength and the strength activity index of concrete containing this material indicated that the material met the American standard of testing material number 68 as per that specification, so it can be used for in cement blending, in partial replacement of OPC. It is conclusive that the Nigerian pumice, these pumice which are product of volcanic erosion, possesses pozzolanic characteristics and also sustainable cementous material for use in cement blending. So our recommendation, it is thus recommended that the pumice material in Nigeria be used in cement blending or for partial replacement of OPC in concrete production as a sustainable cementitious material. This will save a lot of energy, as pumice require no burning or of any sort. No energy of any sort is required prior to its application except issue of sorting off. You will recall that in our cement production, the energy consumed, the depletion of the atmosphere is very, very high. The cement production, the cost, the energy cost is very intense. But with this material, you do not need. You just go about gather this material, blend them, crush them into 700, minimum of 70 microohms, and you begin to make your concrete, and your structure will stand for the next 2 million years. If we are there to see them, if we are not there, other people will see them. Thank you very much, Mr. Presenter. I have tried to be very quick so that I am not cut off by this, but our papers is there, and to say I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for being part of this building materials AGM of 2020. Thank you, and may God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dadu. That was a well-presented paper. It's a virtual meeting, so I wish I could get to see the members participating here applauding your presentation. That was very good. Dr. Dadu happened to have been my lecturer. I know the quality of the work he had done, and that is appreciable. I believe that's something the federal government should look into for making local materials available in our industry. We're going to proceed straight to take more papers, and as they're doing that, I do believe that whatever questions we're making, we're observing, we're jotting them down so that when the time comes, we can ask such questions. All right, we'll proceed, and we'll proceed, and I don't know if the earlier presenters are available now, whether they've hooked up virtually. Is Dr. Suleiman available? If you are, kindly unmute yourself.
Hello, I'm ready now.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please, you have the floor.
Okay,
you have
okay,
the floor, Dr. Sulaiman. Kindly share the screen. Dr. Sulaiman, the paper is on research effort of NIBRI in the areas of building materials development, challenges and prospects. Engineer Dr. Sulaiman. Kindly look for his profile online, what we have sent. Dr. Sulaiman, you are welcome. You have 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Sulaiman from Nigeria Building and Road Research Institute. I'm here to present on behalf of the DG, Professor Yuna Samson, and my topic is on research efforts of NIBRI in the area of building materials development, the challenges and the progress. Because of time, I won't like to waste much time on introduction, because the importance of building materials, the cost effect is so worrisome that NIBRI as a research institute is currently looking at alternative building materials that will be affordable and cost effective. The institute was established in 1978 with the mandate of carrying out integrated research in on building materials, road materials, and engineering materials. I would like to start by giving the types of building materials which are available. We have imported and locally sourced building materials. The imported building materials are materials or components which come into the country in their finished form. Example of that, we have cement, ironmongery, sanitary fittings, and so on and so forth. And locally sourced building materials are manufactured or assembled in the country. Local building materials in the country can be classified into three. We have conventional building materials, we have traditional building materials, we have alternative building materials. Next slide. The conventional building materials are building materials which are either manufactured or assembled in the country. They are steel, plastic, timber, glass, ceramic, etc., etc. We have traditional building materials, and these are building materials whose raw materials are wholly sourced locally and produced locally by rural dwellers using local means by local means for walling and roofing in rural areas. And these are labor intensive. Next slide. Then we have alternative building materials. This is the area where NIBRI is seriously carrying out research because of the skyrocketing price of the conventional building materials. These are materials which have evolved through R&D in the country. Raw materials are locally sourced for the production of material, bricks, fiber reinforced concrete, roofing products. They have undergone testing and they are proved to be okay. And currently, standard has been evolved with the assistance of SON, in which NIBRI is always serve as part of their technical committee. Next slide. NIBRI was, as I said earlier, NIBRI was established in 1978 and have conducted so many research into alternative building materials. And part of this, next slide. Part of the significance of achievements in line with its mandate since inception are: one, improve sun-dry bricks, which is otherwise known as adobe. Use of sun-dried bricks is common with irregular shape and dimension. And based on this, NIBRI designed and fabricated a machine to ensure that sun-dried bricks have regular shape. Next slide. Thereafter, we look into cement stabilized bricks. And based on that, the Institute, with the assistance of the University of Lagos, fabricated a machine which produced a dimensional bricks that can be used effectively. Using just a little percentage of ordinary Portland cement, just about 5%. And the dimension of this brick is 290 by 140 by 100 mm. And from work already done, about 25 to 30% is about 25 to 30% cheaper. And compressive strength is about 1.64 millimeter Newton per millimeter square. And per meter squared of a wall, we'll need about 36 bricks. For further improvement on that, we have also come out with interlocking laterite bricks. The bricks has a dimension of 240 by 230 and by 210, and requires about 14 numbers per square meter. It's also 5% cement consumption, and typical houses with the blocks can be found at our office in Nota and other places. Next slide. We have fiber cement roofing fiber cement roofing tiles, otherwise known as Mado tiles. This one is named after the pioneer director of the institute. The technology is developed using fiber reinforced and cement with sand. And the dimension is about 560 by 400 by 5 mm thick. Most of these technologies, the pictures will be shown later in the slide. Next one is stone crate blocks. Stone crate blocks technology is also available in the institute. Next slide. In this, we used about 5%, we used a concrete mix of 1 to 5 to 8. And we use rocks as a part of the mix. But this technology is better and better be used where we have a lot of rocks. So, and most of these technologies, we have fabricated machines to produce some of them, and most of these machines are gender friendly, and they can be moved from site to site. Example of part of the machines are electro-hydraulic brick making machine. For stabilized bricks, we have electro-hydraulic interlocking blocks. We have semi-automated interlocking bricks machine, and we have a lateral grinding machine. Next slide. This is Nibri stabilized brick making machine. The production of the bricks are walling. The production capacity is about 300 to 600 bricks per day. It is 2 number bricks per operation, and it requires about 3 men to operate the machine. Next slide. This one is an electro-hydraulic brick making machine. The production capacity is about 1,000 bricks per day. It's also 2 number bricks per operation. Next slide. This is Nibri diesel-driven interlocking blocks machine, block making machine. We have also semi-automated interlocking block making machine. Next slide. We have lateral grinding machine. This is lateral mixing machine. Next slide. We have fiber concrete roofing tiles fabricating table, also being constructed by, designed and fabricated by Nibri. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. These are some of the products of the effort of Nibri. This is a skill acquisition office at Ota, built with interlocking blocks. These blocks, apart from the first course, the lintel and on beams, we don't need to use mortar at all. It's just a matter of arranging them and pin them together. So it can be used for any story building, provided it is framed. It can go to any height. The next one is next slide. Yeah, this portion is a precast stone or stone crate blocks. One side of it is used for but it is used as a clay brick, and the other side as a precast stone. So as I've said earlier, we employ the 1:5:8 ratio, and it has about 7 Newton per meter square compressive strength. So it can be used as a load bearing and non-load bearing walling materials. Next slide. Next. This is another building using interlocking bricks. It's a medical center at Nibriota. This is another one, an analytical library and laboratory. Next. So there are some of the problems hindering promotion of local building materials in Nigeria. There are several problems, and some of these are inadequate production. The local building materials industry has not been able to meet the demand for their product due to several reasons. The epileptic supply of electricity, high cost of diesel, and negative effect of production capacity of local producers. We have another problem is continuous importation of building materials. As we know, this will automatically have effect on our local production, as people of we are people of different tastes. So due to this, so it affects the use of these alternative building materials. Next slide. Another problem is a lack of standard. Standard play a vital role in the widespread acceptance of and use of building materials. However, many local building materials do not have standards. Where the standards exist only for conventional ones. However, as I said earlier, NIBRI is always sitting in the technical committee of SON, and some of these parameters that have been developed will be used to come out with, the formulation of a standard for the country. We have lack of awareness and popularization, but efforts have been made by NIBRI to popularize some of these technologies, especially through international conference being organized by NIBRI, which come up every year. Through seminar and conferences like this, and through media and electronic means. Next slide. So I would like to conclude by saying that sustainable building materials technology can greatly curtail economic and resource inputs, improve labor productivity of building inhabitants, and reduce environmental impacts. This promise presents large opportunity for research institutes such as NIBRI, chemical and local materials companies to carve out early entry and incumbent position in the building and infrastructure space for housing development in Nigeria. Next slide. Recommendations. Large manufacturers of construction materials need to network more in order to create and develop a realistic data based on activities, innovations, and the need for the construction industry. Streamline activities in the sector, judiciously use resources available to the sector, identify ways To judiciously use resources available to the sector, identify ways and means of improving on the quality of their products and packaging. Next slide. The government at all levels needs to cooperate and seriously address the copyright issue as it relates to development of sustainable building materials. To effectively participate in the industry, there's need for capacity building, via which local operators can be equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Sulaiman. We appreciate you and appreciate your patience for what you have done. For the benefit of those who don't understand the acronym of NIBRI, it is Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, with mandate to conduct research on things that have to do with buildings and roads in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Like we said to our audience, both visual and physical, please note your questions. It's going to be engaging ultimately. The next paper will be presented by Builder Professor Agm Of Niob, and that is paper number 5. So kindly, Builder Professor Of Niob, like as I said, you can see his profile. He's a professor of building at the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Kindly take the stage, Leader Professor Of Niob, and we'd like you to speak strictly to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, my prof. Good afternoon to everyone. The paper I'm about to present is titled Periwinkle Shell Ash as Cementators Material for Sustainable Concrete Production. It's a joint paper by myself and Professor Kalopo Olushola. The importance of the incorporation of supplementary cementators materials, otherwise known as mineral admixtures or post-lining materials in concrete, cannot be overemphasized. The benefits are that it enhances the plasticity and workability of fresh concrete. It also reduces the heat of hydration and subsequently reducing the thermal shrinkage of the concrete, an advantage which is most utilized in dam construction where massive concrete is required. It also improves the microstructure of the concrete as a result of the formation of secondary cementatous compounds through a process we call post-lining reaction. It as well inhibits the attack of the concrete by chemically aggressive agents such as sulfate and chloride because the calcium hydroxide released by post-lining reaction is limited or being consumed by the post-lining reaction, and thereby nothing is left for this chemical aggressive to attack the concrete. The supplementary cementatous material is also used in the production of high-performance concrete, geopolymer concrete, as well as self-consolidating concrete. So the advantages are so enormous. Of course, the commonly used post-lining materials that we know are the slag, the blast furnace slag, the fly ash, the metakaolin, and so on and so forth. But there are also some post-lining materials that are derived from the waste of, agricultural activities, such as the corn cob ash, bamboo leaf ash, palm oil ash, and so on and so forth. Of course, this country is blessed with abundant resources, including waste resources that are generated from agricultural activities. And the utilization of these waste resources from these agricultural activities, apart from saving storage and disposal costs, will also protect the environment from pollution and thereby contributing to resource conservation and environmental sustainability. And one of such agricultural waste material is periwinkle shell ash, which could be processed from periwinkle shell. Periwinkle shell, we know, is one of the aquatic animal that is being consumed in most communities around the world. And when the edible part is removed, and consumed by these people, the waste, the shell, is usually dumped or disregarded, and they constitute a sort of waste. We also know that there are about 80 different species of periwinkle around the world. And out of these 80 different species, 10 are found in West Africa. And out of these 10, the one that is commonly found in most states of the South region of Nigeria, which we may also call Niger Delta, is the one we call Tympanutus fuscatus. Tympanutus fuscatus species of periwinkle is common in large quantities in most of the riverine communities of this Niger Delta state. For instance, we have a lot of them, the shell and the periwinkle, in communities like Karon, Ishet, Itu, Okobo, Ikorofyon, Ikorabasi, just to mention a few in Cross River in Akwa Ibom State. Then we have those communities like Esong Sidong, Western Calabar, Oko, and so on in Cross River State. Then we have Brutu, Okrika, Kalabari, Brass, Nembe, and so on in River State and all other states around this Niger Delta region of our state. Next slide, please. As you can see, this is a typical market where periwinkle is being sold. So you can decide to buy in bags or you buy depending on your need. So there are different quantity. When the edible part is removed, the shell is done as a waste. Please, the next slide. These are waste periwinkle shells, hips. They are common in most riverine communities. However, periwinkle shells and its ash has been used in both construction and non-construction purposes. The shell has been used as a lightweight aggregate in the production of lightweight aggregate concrete. It has been used as a filler in some concrete and cement matrices. It has also been used in the removal of lead iron and copper in industrial wastewaters, as well as porcelain material for the production of concrete blocks and concrete. Next slide, please. Of course, we know that concrete is a very versatile construction materials because it's used in most kind of construction, can name them bridge, buildings, dams, and so on and so forth. And the mechanical and durability properties of these materials are being improved through the use of supplementary cementitious materials or porcelain materials. So the properties that are of concern here are the complexity of hardened concrete, modulus elasticity of concrete, and the permeability characteristics of the concrete. The compressive strain is one of the most important properties for assessing the quality of hardened concrete, and in most cases, it is used as an indication of other properties of the concrete. Whereas, the next slide, please. Next slide. The modular elasticity of concrete on the other.
Prof, you have just 4 minutes left, please.
The purpose of this study is to utilize how to utilize the periwinkle shell ash as a supplementary cementitious material and its effects on the properties of the concrete so mentioned. The scope is limited to the production of concrete of design characteristic strain of 25 megapascal, incorporating varying percentages of periwinkle shell ash of 0 to 40% as a replacement of cement, and the replacement is done by volume as a result of the significant differences between the specific properties of the two materials in question, that's the cement and the PSA. And these were determined up to a curing ages of 180 days. Next one. The material used in the production of this blended concrete were periwinkle shell ash, and the periwinkle shell ash was obtained by the calcination of shells of the periwinkle shell in a furnace at a temperature of 600 to 800 degrees Celsius in order to obtain amorphous periwinkle shell ash. These have already been established through a previous work carried out by this same author. So The other materials were fine acrylic, coarse acrylic, cement, and water, and preliminary investigation were carried out on them to ensure that they are in conformity with relevant standard. As you can see, that's the furnace where the shell was calcined at that temperature. At the end of the day, we now have the periwinkle shell ash. Next slide. We also carried out a chemical and physical properties of the periwinkle shell ash and discovered that the amphoteric oxide content, the amphoteric oxide here consists of the silica oxide, aluminum oxide, and iron oxide, was above 50%. And the strain activity index was over 75%, thereby satisfying the requirement of ASTM C618 of 2008. And therefore, the periwinkle shell ash in question is suitable to be used as a concrete ingredient. Next slide, please. The preparation of the test specimens consists of 150mm cubes for compressive strength and substitute test. And for the modulus of elasticity test, we now prepare a specimen, concrete specimen of 150 by 300mm cylinder specimen. And for the testing of the specimen, the compressive strength test was test under the compression testing machine, while the elasticity test was test using compressometer with dial gauge and the assemblage mounted in a compression testing machine. The substitute tests were conducted in line with BSEN 195 of 1999. The result and discussion. It was discovered that this compressive strength increases with curing edge, but decreases with increase in periwinkle shell ash content. The design zone of 25 Newton per meter square were met with a blended cement up to 20% PSA at the standard age of 28 days. This could be as a result of the fact that the calcium hydroxide released by cement hydration could only be consumed with the volume of 20% PSA that is being replaced by that cement. It shows that beyond that percentage, the strengths start to decrease. Next slide, please. The static modulus of elasticity shows that the PSA blended cement concrete increases with increase in curing edge and decreases with increase in the PSA content. However, at 28 days hydration, all the specimen met the requirement of BS 8110 part 2 1985 standard. The next slide, please. In the substitute test, several measurements were taken over a period of up to 4 hours, and a relationship between I, which is an increase in mass, versus the square root of time followed a model stipulated by all in 1989 for conventional concrete. This means that the capillarity absorption model of conventional concrete can be applied in the case of PSA blended cement concrete. So you can see the graphs there stipulate the different percentages of PSA replacement in the cement where the IT squared were plotted. So then we have for 0%, that's the reference percent. The next slide, please. The next slide. Then the capillarity absorption capacity at the end of the 4 hours indicated that a periwinkle shell blended cement containing up to 20% was more suitable than the reference and other ones that are more PSA. So in conclusion, the next slide, please. In conclusion, the compressive strength of PSA blended cement concrete increases with increase in curing edge, but decreases with increase in PSA content beyond 28 days. The capillarity absorption model for conventional concrete can be used for modeling relationship between I, that's the increase in mass, and the square of time of PSA blended cement concrete. It is therefore recommended that BSA up to 20% replacement of cement in concrete is adequate, where other admixtures like sodium nitrate and the rest are not to be part of the concrete ingredient. And finally, a purposely made insulator should be built for the production of periwinkle shell hash. Thank you for your attention.
Professor Mo, we appreciate you. Because of time, even if we have questions on the papers presented, we kindly plead that we reserve our questions against tomorrow, because there is another thing that's about to take place now, and this is 19 minutes to 1 West African time. So what we're going to do now is the other paper, paper number 8. We are going to present it shortly now, and you just talk to your paper, and with the practical implications for our people, for researchers, for practitioners, then it will help us. Paper 8 is influence. Thank you, Professor Omar, we appreciate you. And it will be presented by Ifiok Ekop. Paper 8, influence of not-oil extracts on properties of cement, paste, and mortar. Maybe I should tell you what they are trying to do in this paper, I'm not the author, is that some of these oils that we find locally around us can be used in being like an additional something to cement and can have some effect. And when you are doing your mortar, please, I'm not the presenter, I'm only stealing in quotes from his presentation. Thank you now. So, can you share paper 8? A builder, if you're a call, you now have the floor. Thank you. Okay, what we're going to do now is, maybe he lost a connection because he gave me a signal that he's available, he's around. I think in the view of this, we may want to give the floor, even if it's for, okay, time is really not there again. I think on this note, if you have just one question for any of the presenters, raise up your hand digitally, please. And whoever raises his hand, kindly control unmuting. If you have a question for any of the presenters, and I hope the presenters are there, you also note it down. If you cannot even ask your question, there is a chat room. You can always send your question to the chat room. And depending on how the dialogue box appears to you over there, there's also what we call Q&A. There's a Q&A there. But if you don't have a Q&A, there is a chat room. Kindly send your question. And if you cannot ask now, then against tomorrow. But I told you tomorrow will be by far, far better. No issue. I mean, the issues in the control room have been resolved. So if you have, is anybody raising hand digitally? I have 4 hands, kindly unmute them one by one. And if we take only 1 or 2 questions and we cannot take your question again, then please either carry it over to tomorrow or send it in the chat, and we may know what to do. Thank you very much. So can the person be unmuted? Yes, unmuting. What's his name again? Akibeli Jelili, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question? And go straight to the question with all respect, please. Okay, Efiok, please, this is 1:45. Thank you, you are welcome. Kindly make your presentation within 10 minutes. Pick straight to the paper. Tell us what you did, how you did, and the practical implications for those of us who are listening, how we can practically utilize it. Can you please share his paper?
My name is Yoda Ifiok Ekop. So I will be talking on the influence of not-oil extracts on the properties of cement, paste, and mortar. So what we call not oils are the oils that are extracted from mature trees, the seeds of the mature trees, the inside from the nut. Example of such trees or such nuts are the palm kernel, the coconut, the cashew nut, the almond nut, then the pine nut, etc. So please, you can put the paper on the screen for others. Introduction. The sustainable growth in the construction industry can be achieved only if materials used in the construction are eco-friendly, cost-effective, ductile, durable throughout the design service life. Next slide. The use of this material will reduce environmental problems associated with waste disposal and also encourage eco-friendly structures to be built with it. Agricultural waste such as palm kernel shell, groundnut shell, rice husk, corn cob, bamboo leaf, etc. have been used as admixture over time to improve the properties of cement as well as cement paste as well as concrete, with encouraging results reported. Aim and objective of the study. Next slide. This study seeks to examine the effect of coconut and palm kernel oil on the properties of cement, paste, and mortar in order to ascertain its suitability in mortar production. So to do this, we'll consider the physical properties and the chemical properties of the oil, which are presented in slide 7. Then also we evaluate the engineering properties of this when this oil is applied to the specimen. Significance of the study. Next slide. It is well established that plant products are potential alternative to synthetic products because they are 1. Non-toxic, 2. Environmental friendly, 3. Biodegradable and biocompatible. Also, they are abundantly available and of low cost. Next slide, material and method. So, in this study, ordinary Portland cement, that's the Unisem brand, conforming to NIS 444 part 1 of 2003 was used in conjunction with sharp sand, potable water, and the oil extracted from coconut and palm kernel. The mix ratio was 1:3. That is 1 part of cement to 1 part of the sharp sand, with water content of 0.45. The varying percentages of the oil were in the format of 0%, 0.5%, 1%, 1.5%, 2%, 2.5%, and 3%. And they were cured in water for 3, 7, 14, and 28 days. So looking at the specimen, first of all, the test for consistency and setting time was carried out on the cement paste using a standard Vickers apparatus conforming to BS EN 308. Now, the next thing was the specimen preparation. In the specimen preparation, a total of 84 cubes of size 50 by 50 by 50 and 84 beams of size 140 by 40 by 40 were used for the compressive and flexural strength after the curing age. Water absorption was equally examined. Now, for the results and interpretation of results. First of all, we look at the chemical analysis as presented here. So, for the chemical analysis, it was clear that coconut oil and palm kernel oil are rich in lauric acid and palmitic acid, which are very, very essential ingredient that is responsible in the delay in setting time and in the consistency of the mix. Then, for the compressive strength, it was clear that at an optimum use of the oil of 1%, 1.5%, the strength was improved both at the early stage of strength development as well as after 28 days. Also, the consistency and setting time tests also show a significant improvement. As the increase in the addition of the oil, we see the setting time being delayed, showing that this oil are acting as a state retarding admixture.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes, please. Kindly speak quickly around. Thank you.
Concluding remarks. So first, we could conclude that coconut and palm kernel shea oil can be used in mortar production as a bioadmixture, substitute to the normal synthetic admixture that we have, the super plus, the plasticizers. So coconut and palm kernel oil can as well be used, but this time as a bio-based admixture to improve the properties of the mortar. From the findings, we can say that it has improved the consistency and the setting time, working as a safe retarder. It was also reported that the water absorption was clearly reduced, showing that the use of this oil acts as a water repellent. The presence of the lauric and the palmitic acid were the material that were responsible for the delay in the setting time, as well as the improvement in the strength. Then finally, it was observed that the optimum dosage is 1.5%. Then recommendation briefly. So the cultivation of coconut and palm kernel is highly encouraged. Also, research in local materials such as this should be encouraged and be funded by the government. Thank you.
I think on this note, my co-moderator will bring these conference paper presentation to an end, and we're going to start another program as it is circulated on our social media. We want to thank all our presenters, and we want to really assure our participants that the taste of the pudding is in the eating, but you are going to taste a better one tomorrow. Technology sometimes has its challenges, but we're overcoming, and tomorrow will be far better. Alhaji Loba, kindly take over from there so that the next program will kick off very shortly.
Thank you very much, Dada. All is well that ends well. No doubt all the presenters have done justice to all the papers that have been presented. There are issues that were thrown up in the course of presenting those papers, and I want to assure you that people are thinking about solutions to them. The very first one I will want to quickly mention for us to begin to ponder about is the one from Dr. Dadu. I want to quickly let you know, sir, that the Standard Organization of Nigeria have standards for the pozzolatic materials as against what you said in the paper. So I want you to begin to look at that. The pozzolanic materials standard, I know so because I know I am involved with something like that. Even at the African regional level, we have standards for that. No doubt this is a very important topic for us to help us, especially in Nigeria. The Standard Organization of Nigeria has a standard for civil and building and civil engineering material standards in Nigeria and by extension all over Africa. And they are doing harmonization program on that. So I just wanted to give you that as an information that will help you further in your research work. And of course, the same goes to every other person. So having said that, no doubt all the presenters have been so wonderful and very, very apt in their presentation. So if we were to be present physically, I would have asked for a total round of applause for everyone that has presented this morning. But we can still achieve that by acknowledging, oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I can see that. So I want to assure you that those papers, the people who are in charge of organizing this conference will make those papers available to participants. I can assure you that, because that has been our characteristic in all our conferences. So having said that, like I said, all is well that ends well. That was a very good one from the last presenter. Now there is room for questions and answer. I don't know. Yes, there's room for question and answer there in the program.
My co-moderator, yes. Thank you very much. What we have decided, because another program is kicking off straight away, they can keep the questions in view against tomorrow. Send it to or send it to the chat.
Okay.
So
okay,
I don't know whether when you are through, sir, then I take over. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's fine. So in that wise, then we need to move on. We move on. What we have next is the annual general meeting proper. And of course, we have the agenda as lined up there. I will have to invite the AGS to read out the notice, because it's very important. The notice must be read out, which will signify the beginning of the AGM proper, the annual general meeting.
Thank you, my co-moderator. Thank you. I want to, you will still do what you are supposed to do, sir. Thank you, sir. I think on this note, we want to thank all our participants that have come far and wide, those that they travel between their room to another room, from their room to their living room to listen to us, and those who travel from different parts of the world to another location. We appreciate you, all our participants. Please, this program kicks off tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We heard that some of us were trying to reach out to us at 9. Thank you very much. We actually wanted 9 to be like for pre-test. To test run the system. So we have extended our profuse apologies to all of us. So what we're going to do now is that we are bringing this paper presentation officially to a close now. While we now hand over the chair to the people on the presidential train, and it is my privilege to say that if you are just a participant and you are not a member of the institute, you are free to leave to check out physically or visually. But tomorrow you have to come, because incidentally, maybe I should let you know, tomorrow if you check the program that has been sent, we're expecting some dignitaries, even though we know that today there was the Federal Executive Council meeting. The Federal Executive Council is the executive council of the top leading executive council in Nigeria, where the president meets with the ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then tomorrow is budget presentation at the National Assembly. So the ministers obviously will be engaged. But then we have a lineup of people we're expecting. Check the program online. Check the program, your social media. Tomorrow will be so much engaging. There will be the other formalities, then the paper presentation will continue. So on this note, I want to thank you very much, thank presenters, thank my co-moderator, and it's my privilege to hand over the floor to the presidential authority, the authority that have power to convene the AGM. And I'm now going to step aside from this location. Thank you. So it's my privilege to hand over the
microphone to Builder Honorable Bimbo Kolade, who is the third Vice President of the Nigerian Institute of Building. Then they will continue the formalities, whether calling the AGS or anything. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
We appreciate Builder Professor Martin Dada, who has been moderating the technical session. It's been a wonderful work. Let me quickly take this opportunity to appreciate all our online participants. I want to recognize especially Mr. Graham Teddy, all the way from Australia Institute of Building. He's waving his hand, I know. Let's appreciate him, please. He joined us all the way from Australia. We quite appreciate you. Let me also appreciate some of the other online viewers who are joining from South Africa, some from Ghana, and some from Kenya. We can see that the Nigeria Institute of Building is really growing wide. And also our own person who has decided to leave us here, and enjoy the better life of COVID. That's the chairman of College of Fellow. Yes, she's an home person, but she's joining us from outside the country. We appreciate you, Mama. Thank you very much. Physically, those that are with us here, we would like to appreciate our past presidents that are here. Please, cameraman, you need to help me focus this strong line so that people can see. That's Builder Honorable Bala Kaude, a past president of the Institute and a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We quite appreciate your joining us. He's here with us physically. I maybe along the line the camera will be able to project his face. Then also we have one of our past presidents joining us here physically also, in person of Builder Shuaib Tijani. He came all the way from Jigawa State. Thank you very much, for joining us. He's here with us physically. And I will also like to appreciate if I call her immediate past now, I think that is okay. They had their election yesterday. The immediate past is the chairman or president they use, of Association of Professional Women Builders of Nigeria. Her Excellency Ajia Lame, Builder Ajia Lame, immediate past, she's leave the office now. Then the incoming also, I think she's around. The incoming is with us here also. Builder Mrs. Said, all the state chapter chairmen that are here, we appreciate you. Our chapter chairmen from Lagos State, Imo State, Abia State, quite a number of them, or your state, Ogun State, Ekiti, very many, they are here, physically. We appreciate every one of you. We have very senior builders joining us here also. I could see Builder Barrister Anegbe, is here with us physically also. The two of them wearing double honor. I refuse going to their area before they charge me to, I don't know which court now. Sitting close to him also is Builder Barrister Oshinubi. But we like what they are doing wonderfully well, trying to see the legality of building construction industry in Nigeria. We appreciate your contribution. Going into a different field, we can see we are within a wide field that it's quite honorable. We appreciate everyone. I know Builder Professor, the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, who doubles as the chairman of COBON. I know he's joined us online also, but I saw the register of COBON physically here. Sometimes, if he has not leave, he was here with us in the morning, and all the management staffs are here. Professor Dada mentioned the presidential line. and I like that. All the presidential line are fully here physically. Our first vice president, who also doubles as the, building and builders are wonderful, who also doubles as the vice chancellor of Plateau State University, builder Professor Isam is here with us physically, and all the way from Calabar. Our second vice president also, it's here, builder Ewa Edati. It's equally here with us physically. Now, of course, so I would like to invite to step out here so that we can commence the annual general meeting, the AGM proper. Let me equally mention that, please, we have to redraw our program, from the normal way. Because there is a new norm now, and it's even the new norm that is making us to have our AGM conference this way. And honestly, whether we like it or not, this is the way the whole world is going. There will become a time that maybe that we will not require physical presence of builders before we have any of our functions again. But for the purpose of this 58th AGM stroke, we reorder, because normally today would just have been our opening ceremony and some technical paper presentation as we are used to, but like Professor Reda mentioned, today happens to be the Federal Executive Council meeting. A majority, we have to recognize the importance of the day in the life of the country. So we are shifting that till tomorrow, and tomorrow morning we'll be having technical session and the normal AGM opening ceremony and all other peripherals that usually accompany that. And we are expecting 3 federal ministers to be here with us, all things being equal. And also we will have a technical session also tomorrow, where all the papers we go through the remaining of our papers. So may I then use this opportunity to invite the Honorary General Secretary to please step forward and take the seat here. And I think the President also will step forward to take the seat here for us to commence the AGM proper. But please, as they are coming, there will be a little amendment to our program. Immediately, the AGS called the AGM into order. We take the opening, the opening prayer, and thereafter we have the President's opening remarks. Before we take apologies, I've just mentioned some introductions now. Yesterday, the professional women builders, they had their annual AGM, the 7th one, I understand, and they had their elections also. So we quickly swear in, the new ESCO. We do, first will be the presentation of the Women Builders magazine. The outgoing president or chairman will present that. Thereafter, we will swear in the new executive council of the Association of Professional Women Builders, and then we now go back to the program as is slated here. Apologies, reading adoptions, and the rest of it. I believe both online and viewers who are here physically, I believe we all understand. The Honorary General Secretary, can you please step forward? And the President. Let's appreciate them as they come. Please let me equally say, all those that are presenting reports, that will formally be presenting reports, the camera here will be able to catch us, pick you if you stand to this right side of the table. We pick your face correctly. So we want you to stand not on the podium, but down here, almost in front of the podium. Yes, please. The President, let's appreciate the two of them as they step forward. President, can you please step forward? This is your seat, sir. Let's appreciate our President as he comes. Yes.
Good afternoon, distinguished members. To our past president and our members joining this this annual general meeting from all over the world. By the directives of the President and the National Council, I hereby call this 50th annual general meeting of the Nigerian Institute of Building to commence today on today being 7th October 2020. I will now hand over the microphone to the President, who will guide our meeting today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, the House. I recognize our past presidents that are here, the women leaders, and members of my ESCO, the management members, and the council members. Other members are also well recognized. You are all welcome to this 58th annual general meeting, taking place virtually and partially physically within the premises of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Mabuchi, Abuja. I will quickly, I will call one of our past presidents to give us an opening prayer in the name of Honorable Bala Kaoji. Yeah, kindly give us an opening prayer, sir. Who's to be handling this thing?
We thank God the Almighty for giving us the enablement to gather both physically and virtually to the end of the general meeting of our institute for the year 2020. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim, ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Oh Allah, we ask you to bless this gathering and give our leaders the wisdom to steer the affairs of this institute to greatness. We pray in the name of Allah, la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm, lahu ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Man dhal ladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'iznihi, ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum, wa la yuhituna min shay'in min ilmihi illa bima sha'a. Wasi'a kursiyuhu as-samawati wal ard, wa la yuhituhu bi'ilmihi wa huwa al-'aliyyul 'azim. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. Whatever we want to do in life, we must take cognizance of time. Time flies. Time, my friend, makes havoc everywhere. Only the gods have ageless and deathless life. All else must perish. So, between August 2019 and October 2020, half of our tenure or the administration of this ESCO has been expended. Despite the encumbrance of COVID-19, we were able to maneuver our time to mesh with our activities.
Is it on?
There are so many things that we have done that the secretary will report. So, we are on the fast lane. And not to take too much of your time, we will need to take apologies for those who could not make it, if there are any, from their secretary. Then from there we go to reading and adoption of minutes of 49th AGM, held on Wednesday, 7 August 2019, at Dr. Obiwali International Conference, Port Harcourt. So I will pass over the microphone to the
Sam, look at this.
To the Honorary General Secretary. But we have a program here, and due to exigency of time, we will quickly introduce about 3 items. We are trying to observe a minute silence for our members lost during the last 1 year or so. So can we all rise for a minute silence? May their souls rest in perfect peace. Amen. I seek the indulgence of the whole House to quickly work on women builders before we read the minutes of the last meeting. There was a magazine that's supposed to be launched yesterday during the AGM of our women builders that we should quickly do now, because there will be a transition, swearing in of the new ESCO of the female builders. On this note, I will call on the outgoing chairperson of Association of Professional Women Builders, Nigeria, to come and handle the process of launching their unique magazine. Builder Mrs. Kau. You are welcome, madam.
all of you. And we continue to be indebted for the support shown this 5 years executives and architects as a result of groundwork. This afternoon, our activity are twofold. One, the committee of the editorial board committee headed by the state chapter chairperson, who doubles as the magazine chair, the meeting magazine chair, will be launched shortly. Editorial board.
Editorial board member, if you're in the room, please come out. Good afternoon, my President, Council, President of the NLB, the Vice President 1, Professor Exam, and the Vice Chancellor, Vice President 2, the Oda Ewa, the Vice President 3, Leader Honorable Din Pokolade, all other management members, all council members here present, invited guests, and all well-wishers. It is a privilege to stand in your front this afternoon to present the first ever lady magazine of the Association of Professional Women Builders in Nigeria, the Volume 1, Number 1. In order not to waste our time, I would like to run through the editorial's desk so that our members at home will be able to know. The journey has started a long time ago, over 8 years, and as the Agm ESCO is handing over the battle to the new executive, that's why I want to read the editorial desk, that we are to work together as a team, not as an individual, for the progress of the association. The editorial desk. Brave women builders, here comes to your fingertips your long-awaited dream of the APWBN Rural Magazine. APWBN Rural Magazine is coming up for the first time since the inception or establishment of the association. Thus, this maiden edition is a special edition as we count our blessings and struggle for existence for the past 7 years and reminds us to keep working together as one body. Our team signifies that together each achieve much. When each achievement is pulled together, it becomes much. You give me a pass, I give you a pass, and you finish it up into the net. It is going to be a collaborative, synergy, and collective responsibility for all female builders to move the APWBN to greater heights. The theme for this year's magazine centered on building an equitable and sustainable future for gender equality in the face of the new normal. Gender equity is the process of being fair to women and men. Thus, equity leads to equality. However, gender equality requires equal enjoyment by women and men of socially valid groups, opportunity, resources, and work. More so, sustainable development in the context of this magazine implied ending discrimination towards women and providing equal opportunities for education and employment. The present reality is that we are now living in an unprecedented time, which calls for unprecedented responses. We have to shift the paradigm and actively engage women. This also requires ability to open up more spaces before women will be engaged and heard. More women should be engaged in decision-making positions, such as heads of government ministries and territorial administrations. Balancing equality between men and women in leadership positions will result in better work environment, not only for the present, but to build a better future for everyone. At this junction, permit me to appreciate the National President, as I've done earlier, the Dakunle Awokodu, and the National Executive, the elders of the Institute, and the professors, directors, HODs, and staff of the Institute for making the magazine achievable. Finally, I want to seek for our total support for the editorial team for its continuity and development for this magazine. I want to equally appreciate all those who have contributed one way or the other to ensure readiness of this year 2020 Herald magazine. The first edition of APWBN Herald magazine will bring new ideas, educating, exciting, collaboration, communication, and synergy and relationship better. Thank you all for your support. So, I want to present, inside the magazine, we have a lot. The president has contributed, our professors have contributed, members, the past president of the institute, they have done well for making the magazine a reality. Despite the challenges we had because of the COVID-19, yet we are able to come, and the magazine has come to be a reality, and it has come to stay. Inside it, we have a lot of educating, we have a lot of words of encouragement, and a lot that women can be pushed. When you encourage them, the more they can be get to their greater heights in life. So therefore, I want to hand over for this magazine to the president of the Nigerian Institute of Beauty to be the first launcher and the first, that is the first front page of the magazine. It will go for 10 million naira. Here I hand over to you, my president.
Well, I've just seen this magazine for the first time. Okay. Yeah. I also did discussion. I discussed my attitude or my speech. Well, I will need more time to examine it very well. From what I have seen, you have done very well. The editorial committee, you have done very well. And this is also challenges our research and development committee to also come out with newsletters and magazines that can challenge our thoughts. So, we are within the premises of Federal Ministry of Works, and we have civil service guidelines. So, what the ESCO, what the NLD at national level we give you will be passed to you privately. So, I appreciate you. But I personally will provide you 100,000.
The president in council has spoken, so I want to hand over the mic to Professor Izan. Okay, my vice chancellor, sir.
The president and I will be council members that are here. This is hardly a day for a time for long speeches, but let me join the president to congratulate the women builders. When I heard of the magazine airports, I didn't know that it turned out to be such a wonderful production. I'm impressed with the quality. Like President said, I hope we can also come back in NIOB to the days of quality journals also being timely produced on time. And so this is a wake-up call also for NIOB. The team also is timely. I was just last week with the Minister for Women Affairs. She has been on a tour of the entire country trying to preach affirmative action in terms of getting more women governors. I heard her say that Nigeria is improving. In fact, in one of the states, I think Agm State also, she mentioned that all the local government vice chairmen, I don't know, I don't have the facts, they are all women. And in some other states, they are also giving women quite a number of slots. I think the building profession should also be part of this development to enhance women participation in governance. I'm part of the ESCO, Mr. President, who will support whatever decision is taken, as you have mentioned, to support the women in this laudable effort. On my own part, also, I'll support the President with a contribution of 100,000. When I go back to the university, I think the university will also want to have a few copies in our library. I will not be able to mention that one, but also expect something from the Plateau State University. Thank you.
Now thank you, my VC, for your support, and we continue to come to you for assistance with respect to the development of APWBN. Now to the past president, Builder Shual Tidani.
Madam President, yes, colleagues and professionals, participants, good afternoon. I think, yes, the President has spoken, and I saw the press vice. Really, I'm also surprised. I never knew that was going to be a magazine of this produced by the women builders. And it's quite qualitative, and I think, I'm not going through the content, but I believe it's also going to be as good as qualitative as it appears. And I really I want to encourage you, and I think the first main edition will continue. And it's a challenge, like the President said, to the NRB main body, because it's quite a while since I've been contesting, even from Coburn. I think it's a challenge now. The women have given us the go ahead, so we should try to do same, if not better. I having said that, I want to support the management as they say, just a token, very token fee of 10,000 naira. Take cash now.
I will also ask any other person that wants to support to do it. Maybe somebody will go around, because we have to continue with our procedure due to time. Because we have, yes, we have a restricted time frame. So any other members.
Thank you, my president, sir. Now we want to call on our past president, Builder Honorable Bala Kauje. After that, our past VP2, Builder Ewa, and the president Honorable in the ministry, the third vice president, Builder Bibo Kolade. Thank you, sir.
President Niob, of course, all members of the council, the outgoing president of the Women Builders Association, of course, the incoming president of the Women Builders Association. I think your efforts in launching this magazine will be highly appreciated by all members of our profession in this country and elsewhere. Because this I should think is the main edition so far that has been produced by the Women Builders section of our institute. And we are very happy that you have started, and you started very well, because the quality is very good. I haven't gone through the content, but I do believe also that the content will also be quite interesting. So I will support with 100,000.
Yes, I want to just congratulate Women Builders. When the immediate outgoing president spoke to me, give a supporting message, I didn't waste time. That's why I sent the video. And on that note, I don't want to say too much. Today is not much speaking. My chairman in Cross River State told me that we spoke to each other. I think we sent video things to support the women builders. I don't know. We said. But even with that, let me support you again and again with 20,000.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The Honorable Council Mike.
Well, thank you very much. I join in congratulating the women builders. It's a wonderful job that you have done. And of course, the president has taken up the challenge. In just a little way, I will personally support you 50,000.
Thank you, sir. So we pass our train across to other members in the hall. The state chapters have done well with their token of 25,000 naira. And first ever state that dropped its own is Cross River State. So this note too, I want to support as the chairman of the state with the sum of 50,000 naira. Thank you, my president, sir.
Yes, Abuja. Yes.
Thank you, my president. Standing on existing protocol, I'd like to use this opportunity to pay my debt. Yes, I just want to pray that there will not be interest on the late payment. 2019, there was a program held by this association at the Public Service Institute, and we made a pledge of 50,000, and that pledge will be redeemed this morning. Beyond that, also the chapter, FCT chapter, our wonderful women had to prevail that we support the association, the launching of the magazine with a sum of 50,000. Thank you.
Vice President one. Lawrence Aguirre. Vice President two. Annette Malin Branch. EFCS. Ali Didayo. The PS. Tango Regina. The treasurer, defense sec, Greg Lebo. Not against Victoria. Victoria Gana Mama Queen. Well, yes. Okay. The other members are not here. My president, all other responsibilities are respected of that. I am requesting that either you or United Sudan for this.
Thank you so much, my President, other leaders, and my beautiful women leaders. You 5 minutes of I don't support your money. I will support I will say that you take the oath of office. Oath for the new executive of the Association of Professional Women Leaders in Nigeria. I say I, and you put your name there. I do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Association of Professional Women Leaders in Nigeria. That as a, you put your position there, ETC, I will perform my functions honestly to the best of my ability, faithfully, and in accordance with the Constitution of the Nigerian State of Building and the bylaws of the Association of Professional Women Leaders in Nigeria. I will always act in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the association. That I will strive to preserve, protect, and defend the bylaws of the association and the Constitution of the Nigerian State of Building. I will abide with the code of conduct and the bylaws of the association. So help me God. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I appreciate the leading past woman leader, Mrs. Labi Kawi. And I welcome the new team led by Mrs. Adenike Said. I hope we should keep the flag flying. Oh, let's go. Congratulations. Yes. Yes. And then our past president was so positive. So I'm taking council, then our enlarged school, then the chairman that only paid for the vaccine. those who step up at the critical time, then take photograph.
What is your number?
Your phone. These are public service. So other members of the school. New
That there are online people that are doing it.
For the election of College of Fellows, I will call the electoral chairman, electoral committee's chairman, Professor Martin Dada, to quickly give us the outcome.
Thank you, sir. My president, the council, other members of the presidential trade, and our physical attendees here and online viewers. Having been directed by the council to hold elections, the College of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Building set up an electoral committee comprising
For what purposes?
Builder Dr. Michael Obibu, Builder Monday Mataliya, Builder Professor Martin Dada, who acted as chairman, then the honorary general secretary, that is Builder Ifelowo, was the secretary. Guidelines were issued out for submission of claims and widely circulated for the posts of chairman of the College of Fellows and the post of deputy chairman of the college. At the close of the submission of interest, which was put at 11:59 p.m. on September 25th, that was for the post of the chairman of the College of Fellows. The electoral committee thus brings to the notice of this AGM that declared the chairman-elect of the College of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Building.
Come outside now.
So we are seeing him agree.
Yes. You could see the chairman of the immediate past chairman of College of Fellows, I think.
Who is it?
It's okay. The chairman of College of Fellows, Mrs. Adebola Laraba. She's online. She's looking at us from Britain. We all greet you, ma'am. We salute. You have done very well. So, and congratulations, the chairman-elect, Builder Barrister Anebe. So we know that we are going to celebrate you in November. You can sit down. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, under apologies, we have council members that are joining us virtually, but due to certain reasons beyond their control, they are unable to be here in Abuja. You have Builder Dr. Adamu Samaila, MNIOB, the research secretary. You have Builder Akiola Bameke, MNIOB, who is the publicity secretary. Builder Kingsley Ogoro, the Delta State Chapter chairman, and Builder Yinka Olatunji of Ogun State Chapter, the chapter chairman. The vice is actually here representing the chapter. So we'll quickly move to the reading and adoption of the minutes of the 49th AGM held on Wednesday, 7th August 2019 at Dr. Obiwale International Conference Center, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The minute to be taken by Builder Timothy Shegun Dosumu. Thank you.
Thank you, my boss, the AGS. The Nigerian Institute of Building National Secretariat minutes of 49th Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Institute of Building held at Dr. Obiwale International Conference Center, Port Harcourt, Rivers State on Wednesday, 7th August 2019. Opening prayer. The meeting commenced at 10:30 a.m. The song was held at 10 hours handled by the AGS Builder Padil Elegede FNLB. In front while chapter chairman, College of Fellows and elected official followed. The national anthem and leaders anthem was recited by members present. Opening prayer was led by the president, Nabili Suduka. Called to order. In line with constitutional provision, the ATS called the meeting to order at 10:45 a.m. Agenda. You can see it. Number 3, President opening remarks. President Peter Kenneth Nabili Suduka presided over the meeting.
He welcomed everyone present and read the opening address to the hearing of all. Highlights: advocacy for the roles of leaders in the built environment. 2. Promoting involvement between builders. 3. Completion of builders' house. Then restructuring the executives and assigning responsibilities. A motion for the adoption of the address was moved by Builder Olufemi Akishola and was seconded by Builder Zikaru. Apologies transmitted. 2. Reading Constitution and adoption of minutes of 48th annual general meeting. Minutes of the 48th AGM held at Air Air Force Conference Center, FCT, Abuja, was read by the Assistant General Secretary, Leader Idris Abubakar Sadiq. The following questions were made. The questions are listed to past President Leader Dakolo Dabo observed that the issue of financial clearance with the FCC was not properly captured. President Leader Kenneth Uduka noted that the issue would be properly handled. The motion for the adoption of the amended minutes was moved by Leader Nwoko Collins from Imo State chapter and was seconded by Leader Ayo Akipade from Oyo State chapter. Report from the Electoral Committee. The chairman of the committee, Leader Olaniwa Iyabode, was called on to make decision on the electoral process. She was joined by committee members, which include the names are listed. In the report, the election process was read out and the list of protesters was read out. List of disqualified protesters were also read out and the reason for the disqualification, which include 1. Leader Oladeloba Adesina, vying for the post of second vice president, was disqualified for violating Act 14 of the NLB Constitution. Leader Alaofe Olakunle, vying for the post of 8 years, was disqualified for violating Act 14 of the NLB Constitution. Leader Samela Adamu, vying for the post of Assistant General Secretary, was disqualified for violating Act 14 and 12 of the NLB Constitution. Leader Adeoye Thomas, vying for the post of Finance Secretary, was disqualified for violating Act 14 of the NLB Constitution. Leader Dr. Omale Apoti, vying for the post of Registrar, was disqualified for violating Act 14 of the NLB Constitution. 6. Leader Daniel Sani, vying for the post of Police Secretary, was disqualified for violating 14 of the NLB Constitution. President commended the committee for the more well-known and open that the committee report should be accepted and that the affected or disqualified contestants should seek peace and accept the outcome of the committee. He further advised that the growth and progress of the institute should always be paramount, always. The committee commenced with reading out the electoral process and the following reactions of the mission followed. 1. Idelaja Adekondi, Lagos State President man, advised that the results of contestants were read out and the contestants were not given the floor to comment. The president noted that the floor will be open for reactions after the report decision. Leader Isaka from FCT chapter opened that the electoral committee process lacked integrity and that the process should be stopped to avoid litigation against the institute. Leader Ugo Owa noted that the electoral committee report is not a subject for AGM discussions and hence called for the continuation of the election process. Leader President Tulio Osunubi advised that the aggrieved parties be heard from to express their pleasure or displeasure. The aggrieved parties were further called out for their various expressions. 1. Leader Adeoye Thomas said that he submitted a complete set of documents as requested by the committee. He is not aware of the new performance evaluation as submitted all documents. Leader Dr. Omale Apoti noted that there were irregularities in the article and quoted section related to his disqualification. Leader Olakunle said that in his document it is clearly stated where he served as the state capital executive and the evidence is submitted. The committee still maintained that no such document was submitted. He was requested to look at his submitted document. He looked at it and claimed that the document was missing. Leader Samuel Adamu, stated that contrary to the committee's report, his nomination is financially up to date. He commented that he said that the said payment was made on 21st May 2019. He noted that the accounting records should be updated. Leader Idris stated that he submitted NLB and common certificate on the issue of nominators. He noted that they are yet to be inducted, as their induction will be taking place later in the day. With the time expiring, noted that his nominator is a financial corporate member of the institute and that there was no common provision. The committee was asked if there were any provision on common membership or nominators. The committee answered that it is written on page 2 of the nomination form and on Article 14 of the Constitution. The Director of Additional stated that he was a state executive in Lagos State. He said it was stated in his performance evaluation form. The committee still noted that there is no evidence in the submission where he stated that he served as a state executive. He submitted document was read out and there were nowhere it was stated. The Director of Additional claimed that his document was not complete. After a series of deliberations, the committee of past, present, common, registrar, and chairman, College of Fellows was set up, and they were mandated to work with the electoral committee and review the electoral committee report on contestant disqualification. They include one, the names are listed. The chairman of the committee addressed the House. He called for calm and as the matter will be looked into properly. The committee members were excused from the hall and sworn into action immediately. Matter arising, shares and investments. It is good. This man introduced to the house because his vacant position in the board of trustees. Not first and not least are the only vacant positions in the board of trustees. The position as still vacant as no position has been received. Leaders house. Complete payment of this part of the TV tribe leaders house has been made and the return part is still being allocated for examinations. The policy guiding allocation of examination centers is still being adhered to. Any center that meets the approval criteria will be given an examination center. Allowance for elected officers. The allowance review was not successful. It is visited to the next council executive to work it out. Honorable General Secretary reports. Report was read by the AGS with an Odin Elegbede. Highlights 1. Successful registration of NLB as incorporated by trustee with number 128600. Activities held with, which include 1. Selection of meeting for the first NLB national examination, NLB national workshop, council meetings, committee meetings, and attendance of executive and members to meetings. The motion for the adoption of the report for discussion was moved by Leader Timothy, Ekiti South Chairman, and seconded by Leader Adejo Ole from Benue State Chapter. Treasury report. The treasury report was read by the treasurer Leader Aliyu Yusuf Dada. From his report, the major income and expenditure are 1. Personal workshop, NLB examination, oral interview, leaders house levy, and leaders conference. The motion for the adoption of the report for discussion was moved by Leader Fatima Osho, Leader Mr. Osho from Ogun State Chapter, and seconded by Leader Adesoya Femi from Lagos State Chapter. Financial Secretary report. The PSEC report was read by the Financial Secretary Leader Bello Isoba. From his report, the major income and expenditure are 1. National workshop, NLB examination, oral interview, leaders house levy, and leaders conference. The motion for the adoption of the report for discussion was moved by Idada Ratai Osho, FNLB from Borno State Chapter, and seconded by Abbas Muruk from Lagos State Chapter. External auditors' remarks. The external auditor report was read by Mr. Kawale Lawani on behalf of Mr. Batunde Olawale, who was unavailably absent. From this report, he highlights 1. Increase in revenue and surplus. The motion for the adoption of the report for discussion was moved by Leader Agm Of Niob from Lagos State Chapter and seconded by Adeto from ST Chapter. Reactions. Vida Oshipolu Olasukoni noted that there are differences between the external auditor's report and the financial secretary report. There is no documentation on the institute shares and investment. The president still maintains that there is no record of the institute shares and income and investment, but that modalities are still in motion to get those records. 2. Vida Adelaja reacted on the revenue on page 56 and 7 and 15. She noted that the solution of the surplus was not even. She will call for proper reconciliation of all items and proper narration of expenditures carried out. The DSEC was requested to make proper narratives on all items subsequently. With Addison Afemi from the Lagos State Center, noted on page 700, noted that now was captured and he asked if it was an asset and that was why it captured under the decision. The external auditor is noted that they don't value land and that the institute should value the land and give the accurate figures. The Alatunde from the Lagos State Center noted that the names of members who passed away were not read out. The president noted that the names were read out but was not comprehensive enough. Subsequently, a comprehensive list will be produced. Another from Isiaka from FCT chapter noted that he observed that there is no scheme for members' welfare, particularly to health, accident and death, etc. The president replied that such matters of members' welfare is an ATM issue and that it should be captured properly through the right channel to the ATM to reflect as an agenda. Mr. Adenike Said from Lagos chapter referred to page 8. Item 1 asks for further clarification if the constitution was to be amended was to be made. The president responded that it was a parliamentary speech and that he saw some lacuna. He just brought it out for members' notice. Further actions can be taken by members if they deemed it fit. 7. Barrister from FCT chapter observed that the review of annual view of annual view. He noted that members are not insured. He noted that annual views should be calculated based on years of election, members and years of parties. The president responded that it is actually a challenge. He further stated that members don't pay all annual dues as dues. He advised that membership drive should be all modes and ways of retaining them should be incorporated into the system. Any other business? Think tank committee. The president noted that the committee was set up to come with working modalities for the institute. He called on the secretary of the committee to read out the report. The secretary did that let the report highlights. 1. To provide the professional framework for unbundling professional services, also with the building industry for builders. 2. Common Act. 3. Areas of employment as a builder. 4. The situation of NRB secretariat and elected officers should be inducted and properly oriented on the functions of the institute. The president called on members who have innovative ideas to send it to the committee to improve the outcome of their decisions. Hosting rights for leaders conferences. The first vice president solicited that 2021 hosting rights be given to Lagos State. It was unanimously accepted. Dedele Akinyo, chairman of Ondo State, requested for 2020 hosting rights to be given to Ondo State. Akure, it was unanimously accepted. Remember observed that previously a decision was taken that hosting of leaders conference for 2 years should be known at intervals. The president reacted that it was so, but that in 2017, no state offered to host 20 leaders conference. Date of leaders conference. Leader Sunday Usu suggested 3rd week in August, 17th to 21 to 21st, 2020, so as to enable Christian members attend convention and other activities. Suggested week of August 2020, so as to enable Muslim leaders celebrate Salah. Leader Aliyu Dada suggested that 4th week in August, and it was turned out. Leader Bameke Akiola suggested last week of July, and it was turned down. We are anecdote to them. Suggested that as we saw, firstly, AGM days should be at the first and second week of August, so as to enable salary earners attend. For 2020, the tentative date is 17th August 2020. AOB, the direct committee solicited for the inclusion of young baristas and leaders in the creation of think tank committee for more innovative ideas. The president advised that ideas and suggestions should be sent to the committee for discussion and implementation. With Aditoye advice for president of the medical desk during the leaders conference, he also suggested that publicity and courtesy visits should be taken seriously.
Your handling matters, right?
With our because that the institute to conduct induction for building graduates before they graduate, noted that a proposal was received from Babalawo University for induction of building graduates. The AGS stated that there is a policy on induction of graduates. Members and it is being carried out when invitation is received. With that, John Ogeri raised the issue of a member who wrote NRW exam and failed 5 papers out of 6 papers, but was issued a letter to proceed for oral interview. He asked for clarity and on the subject matter. The Christian Eze reacted that this issue has been submitted to the council for deliberations. He observed that he will not be part of the next council and so wants to add the issue to the incoming council. Several observations were raised concerning the issue, and that is not an AGM discussion. Matter and such should be referred to the incoming council for further actions. With the Barrister Tunde Otunbi, observed conference snacks were not branded. He advised that in future they should be branded. A member observed that the event management for the conference was poorly done. He observed that the registration was poorly done and the materials in the conference bags were not complete. He called for better organization. The AGS reacted to this. He noted that the online registration is a new method and they have itches. He apologized to members and urged them to bear with the institute on this, and that a better method will be considered subsequently. Mr. Adeleke Said noted that proper scheduling of programs and activities should be done, as extra meetings should not take over the main program of the conference. Mr. Ali Yusuf Dada spoke on behalf of leaders in construction. He said that section wants a representative in the council. The committee that was set up to look into the electoral committee report were called forward for their decision. Past President Mr. Jabo presented the report. In his report, he said that the committee was appointed to intervene and review the report submitted by the electoral committee. The report read thus: all contestants disqualified on the basic of performance evaluation form were exonerated. 2. All contestants disqualified on the basis of non-reduction of evidence of service in the state status still stands. 3. All contestants disqualified on the basis of common membership and parental indebtedness was exonerated. The nominations for internal auditor committee nominations were called for from all zones. They include Vidaki Pelutili, Southwest Chairman, Vida Kisle Ogoro, South, and Vida Yusuf Taku, Northeast. The resolution of the 2017-2019 executive was held at 7:45 p.m. Election. The election proceeded after the resolution of the 2017-2019 executives. The electoral committee chairperson Vidaki Yabode took over the section. The contestants were called forward and were given a minute each to introduce themselves and the post buying form. They include the list as follows. The list are there. Then the electoral process started in harness with accreditation of financially up to 8 corporate members. They were issued of ballot papers and subsequently proceeded to the ballot boxes to drop their filled ballot paper. This was done for positions that were contested, which are 1. Assistant Secretary, 2. Registrar. At the end of the electoral process, the following results were announced. 1. Assistant Secretary Leader Timothy, winner. Second, Leader Samela Adamu. That is the finish for the last year, 8 years. Thank you, Mr. President, and my boss, 8 years. God bless you.